I am back with Greg Dedrick, the manager at True Pickleball Club, where I think you've suggested that I should rent an RV and park it in the parking lot because I'm there so much and I live an hour away. Yeah, it's a great place. I do think there's people who love it at True so much, Greg, that I'm like, that's weird. I'm there in the morning and sometimes there at night, and that person's still there, comfortable on the comfy couches. Are there people you feel should pay rent in addition to
Yeah,
paying for the court?
there are definitely a couple people that we joke around and say, "Where are you hiding your cot in here?" Because you're obviously sleeping here at some point.
It's rare to have a place where there's a sport you love, but the whole atmosphere is just wonderful. It's just so positive. And then you accidentally go and try to do, I don't know, outdoor open play, someplace where you aren't known. And you're like, oh, people are really
Yeah,
clicky and a little bitchy. And I'm running back to True where everyone smiles at you regardless. I think they give out
right.
smiley pills or something.
Yeah, it seems silly, and I know it's cliche, but like, it is like a family. And some of us
Yes.
are a little dysfunctional,
Yeah,
but it's
oh,
still a
fully.
family.
Oh, me, yeah, the bossy older sister. Shut up. Don't tell me what to do at the baseline. But what I want to talk about is something that is never talked about, even in a lot of clinics, because maybe there isn't time. Private lessons, it's really hard because it's just you and the pro. When I have a lesson with you or Veronica Alteri, angles. We once did a show, Down the Middle Solves the Riddle is an absurd comment. That isn't true at all. But when people hit a ball straight down the middle and it wins, they go, oh, yeah, down the middle solves the riddle. But really, it doesn't, okay? Because after you've done that one time, I can block it the next time. Angles, which you hit a lot of, are strategic and clever and sneaky.
Yep.
But then there's the issue. If you do hit an angle, where are you hitting it from the kitchen, which is one kind of angle? You're hitting it from the baseline or mid-court, or are you crashing in? But then there's the problem. You hit an angle and you get an angle back.
Yep.
And if you aren't ready, you're going to get burned. So, what is your kind of 101 on angles in general, incorporating them, but cautiously, maybe?
Yeah, like you said, angles are a big part of my game. I'm not a power player. And I was always like, cool, I'm going to hit these great angles. And sometimes they win points and sometimes they set up points. And then one time I was watching Pro Pickleball on TV and I can't remember who the announcer was, but he said, angles beset angles.
Yep.
And it really stuck with me. And then all of a sudden I noticed sometimes I'd hit an angle and this crazy shot would come back. And
Yes.
I was like,
Yes.
look at that. And it's something I had never thought about. It was just like, oh, I'm going to hit this cool shot. And sometimes
That's
I'll win,
right.
sometimes I won't. And then a lot of times the ball that was coming back was just very difficult to,
Yes.
and I really do think a lot of it depends on level.
Right.
If you're playing a little bit lower level and you can kind of move it around and hit shots, you're going to win a lot of points. But as you move up and you start to play some strong players, all of a sudden that really great cross court backhand dink I hit
Yeah.
to a person like Veronica or
Yeah.
a Joe Schember who plays here a lot, or
Yes.
Diego, all of a sudden it's a terrific ATP
Yeah.
that your partner now has to do. Or you hit this great angle and you think you're in the right spot, and then the shot that they hit back is virtually untouchable because of the
Yes.
angle that it's coming back at. So
Specifically dinking. So let's say everyone has this idea, whether you're starting or you're a mid-level player, or you call yourself a 4-0, a whole other conversation. Who said you're a 4-0? But never mind. To me, myself as well. Who said it? I know who said it to me, but it's still very confusing. But let's say you're at a really good competitive level. So you think, oh yeah, backhand dink, that a really sharp angle, that's going to be great. And you hit it, and it's like, they love that. They
yeah,
love a sharp backhand dink. So now you've created a little bit of a monster for yourself because you've hit one and you're thinking that's swell. Now an even more intense one comes back. So you have really little choice but to send another one. And here comes another one. So what do you do when it's not a paddle battle, but you have poked a bear like a speed up when you
right.
shouldn't have? How do you know who not to hit what you think is a marvelous backhand angle to?
Yeah, I definitely think there's some trial and error there. You need to hit shots
Yeah.
that you're comfortable with, but you also have to be realistic of, okay, am I winning this battle?
Yes.
Or am I just doing it because it's my pattern, the shots I like to hit, and then
Yeah.
go, they're actually better at this than me.
Yes.
And
A lot
I
of
talk a
uh-oh.
lot that
Yeah. A
Yeah,
lot
I
of
talk about this a lot in the dinking clinics I do, is you shouldn't just be hitting a shot because it's a comfortable shot for you, because a lot of times you are not going to be the best at that shot.
That's
There's
right.
always someone better, and that
Yeah.
you're going to run into them, and you're going to have to mix it up, and you have to get out of your comfort zone a little bit, and you can't just hit that beautiful angle, because there's always going to be someone better at hitting that beautiful angle back and putting pressure on you.
And the question is, how many times can they hit it beautifully? You might
Right.
have learned, in my case, I've learned to do really one beauty. I can't do 3 or 4 in a row really with confidence. I can maybe do the second one, but after that, I'm like, they
Right.
could do this all day long. Now I'm toast. I
And
mean, our
exactly.
angle has come out to hurt me somewhat, and so then I have to change it. But if they've hit a really great angle, changing it to, I don't know, a drop to their partner or more towards the middle is hard.
Right.
Maybe I'm hitting the net.
Trying to mix it up. I know this is going to seem so simple, but I love the angle that we talked about. And I was listening / watching one of your podcasts, and unfortunately, I can't remember who it was.
That's all right. Tell me, maybe I'll remember. That'd be good.
But one of the people you had on talked about, they do it with their beginners, is teaching them just aim for the right foot on their dink.
Yes.
And I was like, and I was sitting there and I was thinking about it. I'm like, at the level I play at, that's not going to work. No. And then next thing you know, I just started to mix it in, and it really even worked at the 4 or 5 plus level.
Yes.
Just as like a change up, a mix up, which is something I talk about a lot to the intermediate players. And I do mix it up a lot. I do go to a lot of different places, but just hitting that nice, simple dink with good depth at their foot.
At their right foot. I think it was Lisa Palcic, because she's very strategic.
I think that's exactly who it was. You're right.
And when someone says to you, hit it to their feet, you're like, okay, I get the concept, hit to their feet. But when she says, I'd forgotten about that myself, I'm going to start trying it tomorrow. Go to their right foot, because we're only humans. I don't care if you're 5'0". Your right foot is still a really awkward place if you're going for a backhand and you're a righty.
Exactly. And it's so simple, and you don't even think about it, because let's be honest, the backhand dink, whether you're hitting a one-hand slice or the tui with topspin, that fun angled shot it's fun. It looks cool.
Yes.
Everyone likes doing it.
Yes.
But it could be very difficult when you're at an equal level or at a disadvantage to win with that shot, because most of the time, quite frankly, you're going to be outgunned.
How about the horror show where they do an inside out? They come around it and suddenly they turn it into a forehand and they drive it through the middle. Quick enough. If they're a lefty, they can do other things, but lefties, there's fewer of them. But I've seen people take that backhand shot, not even run around it, just hop around it and hit it beautifully with their forehand. And now it's suddenly not a backhand dink anymore. The point's over. And it's not in your favor.
Even last week, I was playing a mixed game, and I was on the left-hand side, and the one person kept pushing it out wide to me, and then I would mix up my dink, and then all of a sudden I realized their partner had shifted so far middle.
Yes.
All I had to do was make it look like my backhand dink, and then just open it up down the line, and I'm hitting it at 2 miles per hour.
Yes.
But it just looks like the other dink, and they had just kept giving me the same shot over and over again. I was like, why am I just going to keep going there? And I would just pop it down the line, win a couple points, and the next thing you know, their partner now needs to protect line a little bit more. And now I've got the whole middle open. And the guy I was playing, he just kept hitting it. I was like, now this is great for me.
And that's the problem.
I've got gaps all over the place.
Yeah. And that's the problem when people are working their way up to a more advanced level. Forget the number. The number has become irrelevant.
Right.
But you're working your way up and you think, I got this. And then what you find is, I found this. I've either been served to, or I've served and the balls come back, and maybe my third shot or my fifth shot, more importantly, I'm going to hit it really a great angle.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, will probably be their forehand. And now they hit a winner back at me. Now, I've hit what I think is a great shot. I've gotten them way off the court. But if they're really good and they're way off the court, they've got that whole big kind of middle angle. It's unreturnable. So hitting a really great angle that you think is a crash, and like you said, it's dramatic, looks really great, and this person's off the court, and therefore they've got so many more angles of their own now because they're not even on the court.
Exactly. And for a little bit, a couple months ago, I had moving away from the net. On my return of serve, I had been really heavy on, I'm going to return cross court. It's going to
Yes.
allow me more time to get up to the kitchen and
Right.
be aggressive. And that was like what I was preaching and what I played. And I realized a little bit, sometimes my opponent was hitting this really sharp angle. And I brushed it off like, okay, whatever. They hit a great shot.
Right. Right.
And then the player that I was playing a lot of men's with, Jason, said, hey, would you, and we're very open in our conversations about what we're doing. He said, would you return it straight ahead of you a little bit more? And I said, absolutely. Why do you want me to do it? And he goes, even if they hit to you, it's coming straight to you.
Yeah.
So you're going to be able to do it. And it's going to allow me to poach a little bit more.
That's right.
I no longer have to worry about covering my line. I can be in there. And it was like a light bulb kind of pop.
Light bulb moment. Yep.
Of course. Of course. What am I thinking?
Yeah.
Yes, I still want to get to the kitchen line, and I find it easier if I return cross court. But even if I don't get to the kitchen line, now with that ball straight in front of me, my life's a little easier. And I'm making my partner's life so much easier because they can be aggressive and poach. And it's all about angles. It's all about angles of where that ball is going to come back, making my life easier without all these sharp returns and making my partner's life easier because now they know where that ball's coming from and they can be more aggressive poaching.
And it's not the end of the point. Because otherwise, what without realizing it, because you think you've hit a beautiful, good, aggressive, intelligent shot. Now they've hit winners off it, and you think that guy's just really good. You gave it to him no differently than a meatball. To that person, what you gave was a beauty. Oh, yummy. And they went for it, and they hit a winner. And now you've built their confidence. You now hold them in a higher estimation, not realizing your angle gave them an angle that was so good. And I think we all do that. We hit it, we think is a great shot. Something comes back and we go, oh, nice shot. So and you just actually invited them. You invited them.
We helped it. Yeah, and that was the case too. There were two players specifically who just happened to have really good right hand side forehand dinks that they could hit cross court with sharp. And I was hitting them. I was like, oh, they hit a great shot. And as someone who's normally pretty good at picking up patterns, I did pick it up, but I'm still like, that's where I want to go. But certain people just have shots that are really good for them. And if you give them that angle, they're going to take that angle and it's going to make your life very difficult. And even if you get to it, you're going to pop it up. And then they won the point anyway because you just put it up there.
Yes, and they can put it away. The other one is serving out wide an angle or hitting out wide to the person's backhand. We think, oh, we got them now. There's a bunch of people that can hit. And I don't mean they're 4.5s like you or 5.0. They can hit ATPs off those. Yeah. If they're
see it rarely, but you do see it absolutely.
Or they attempt it, at which point you think, oh, I'm giving them practice on something they really actually an ATP. What about these people doing Ernies? Now I don't know. Just in rec play, I've suddenly noticed 3 or 4. I'm going, what? This is lunacy. All of a sudden, people are hitting Ernies. When did this start to be incorporated into just advanced open play? Have you noticed that? Because that is from angles also. They can only do it off an angle.
It's interesting. You see it a lot off of a straight ahead dink, right? Oh. People read that. But lately, I have seen it a lot more where someone hits a super sharp cross court ball.
Exactly. It's a horror show. I'm like, wait a minute. I just hit a winner. I even say to the person, what do you think you're doing with my winner that you just earned to put it away? Right. It becomes dangerous.
It absolutely does. And that's the great part, I think, about pickleball and what we've seen in the last even year and a half, 2 years is even players who might not quite be at the 4 or 5 plus level yet, they're seeing it. They're watching pro players. And you're seeing these incredible shots, even at the lower level, where they still might be inconsistent in their drops or too much. And sometimes their dinks get a little high, but then all of a sudden you see them jump over the corner of the court to hit a backhand flick Ernie on a cross court, and you're like, wow, that was awesome.
That's exactly how I felt. Wait a minute. Are you a sheep in wolf in sheep's clothing? Who put you in the ringer? Because your last 3 shots were not all that great. And now suddenly you're jumping on a shot that's an angle to what should be your backhand, and you're turning it into an unreturnable shot.
Yeah, I don't use it a ton, but I do use that specifically, like the game I talked about last week when I was playing mixed and my opponent kept hitting this cross court dink. Eventually, when I noticed some were like a little bit high but shallow, I realized, ooh, rather than reach too far and try to roll one, if I can ernie it, I can then hit a super sharp, close to the net, cross court off, and I will mix it in. And it's really just about recognizing patterns. And like we said, that person's hitting a beautiful angled shot, and they're going, I can hit it a little high because of how shallow it is. Greg can't attack that, but all of a sudden,
Greg
you can by doing that ernie, and the angle that comes back, like we said, angles beset angles. The angle that can come back off of that shot is so sharp. It's virtually unreturnable.
It's a total winner. So is the advice that we have about angles, incorporate them more because they have a place. Just going middle or straight at people is, you have to mix it up. But should the angles not be so sharp? Or does it depend on whether you're hitting from transition zone versus baseline? What kind of angle is the most dangerous? It seems like from what we're talking about, those, the ones in the kitchen, the dink, push dink, those kind of shots can get you in trouble.
Yeah, to me, it's a lot about the patterns, and it's about, are you predictable? Right? If you have a beautiful two-hand, heavy topspin cross-court dink that you do mix up, but you hit it wide a lot, good players are going to start to read it, and they're going to sit on one, and they're going to ATP it. I think there are certainly times for a great angle, but I think it all becomes with how do you hit it and to not be predictable. If you can pull your opponent in a little bit with your dinks and then all of a sudden roll one heavy cross court, then it's a lot better. But if you're just going heavy cross court, heavy cross court, heavy cross court,
they park way over there.
You're asking for trouble. So I think the angles are very important. But when you use those angles are just as important. When do you go down the middle? If you're just going down the middle all the time, people are going to sit on it and they're going to annihilate it. But if all of a sudden you push them outside for two dinks in a row, you create that. It's all about being a little bit unpredictable, even within your own patterns that you're comfortable with. You need to set up the shots that you like. And I think that's the real key with the angles, even. No matter how cool they look, if they know what's coming, you're in trouble.
Yeah. You've got to mix it up. So the one last question about angles is where you hit an overhead, because I've noticed a lot of times if I've been lobbed, generally everyone who knows me knows, I'm like, that's for my partner to get, because that's just, I'm just the princess where lobs are concerned. But let's say I can reach it, which many times I can. So I now hit it back directly. Why is this? At the person who hit it. Now they lob it again. Now I hit it directly, and I'm not the only one. I've seen this happen. So it's a pattern. They hit it, you hit it back at them. They hit it up again, you hit it back. And everyone's watching and going, oh, cool. It's not cool. You're hitting it back to the person who is very comfortable lobbing it. Should we angle away? Shouldn't we angle away a lob hit at us? Is there any reason to hit it back to the lobber?
Yeah, I think it's rare that you should hit to the lobber unless they're lobbing to try to get to the net, and then maybe you could hit them in transition zone.
Yes.
I think the person you're talking about is just the serial lob.
Correct.
They're holding their spot near the baseline.
That's
they're
right.
Just lobbing for fun. I would rarely go back to them. I do think going up the middle sometimes is great. Personally, I like to hit a nice sharp angle.
Yeah, right? I've seen you do it.
But I certainly do also teach to the 4-0 and under. Sometimes you just keep blasting it middle. Keep letting them come together, the teammates. Make them, eventually they're going to hit a bad one and you're going to crush it. But just don't make a mistake at the 4-0 and under level. Just don't make a mistake. Keep it consistent and be good. But also that will then pinch them middle, and it will allow you to try an angle that maybe you miss early on, but it will get you more comfortable. But certainly at the higher level, you've got to rip it. You got to rip it away at an angle. And a lot of times I'll hit it with a little less power too, just to get them off the court, knowing they're going to get it. That's right. To make my next overhead much easier to put away. It's all about the setup. It's all about, I hate saying waiting for the perfect shot, because pickleball is getting so aggressive. You can't just wait, but you can create easier opportunities for yourself. But you don't have to be too aggressive on a bad ball. You can create a pretty good ball instead of the perfect ball for yourself with that angle.
And remember, you may not end the point with it, but you will move that person around enough that maybe your next shot is an angle off the other side.
That's the real key
Possibly.
to me.
Yeah.
That's the real key to me, is always just be setting yourself up. And sometimes that's going to be a winner. And sometimes it's just setting up your winner, your next shot.
Yes.
But just make a good shot. Make a good shot is always my strategy.
Yep. And an angle might be the way to end a point when you're actually scoring.
Sometimes it's not, right?
Yes. Yeah, but at least incorporate it. And even at the advancing level, when you're somewhere around 3-5, start to do it. Get your brain used to it, because I never got used to it. The idea of put it away, and now I play with so much better players and everyone's putting it away out at an angle. So now I'm realizing that's what you have to do. But again, not predictably. Otherwise they can face it.
You've got to mix it up.
The sooner you get your brain used to angles and when to use them and when not, the better it'll go for you. Thank you, Greg Dedrick. See you on the court soon.
Thank you, Tracy.